Well, there are friendships that stand the test of time and friendships that are proven when tested. Meet a young gentleman who stepped in at just the right time to prove just how much his friend means to him. It's a route Citadel cadet Miles Scott takes a couple of times a week to the doorsteps of Felicia Breeland. This time, instead of being greeted at the door with a hug and a smile,
Well, it was a scary day.
he was met with something that would force him to spring into action.
The day before, she was perfectly fine.
Mrs. Breeland's son watched it all unfold just a few miles away from home.
When someone rings the doorbell, immediately I get a notification that someone's at the front door.
He had stepped away for a short time for business.
He always checks up on her, and normally I wouldn't say anything, but for some reason that particular day I just wanted to say hi.
He stayed on, and after several minutes of Miles not being able to get Mrs. Breeland to answer the door,
I called the landline, I called her cell, no answer.
Plan B was put into motion, and Miles was able to gain entry into the house.
When he walked in, he immediately called me on his cell phone, and I told him to put me on speakerphone, look around, call my mother's name, and tell me what you see.
I see her down on the ground, and I'm just like, what is happening?
Mrs. Breeland wasn't so sure either.
I remember getting up, going in the restroom, and that's about it.
The retired educator and musician is a treasure in the community, notably widow of late South Carolina State Representative Floyd Breeland. She was also the longtime organist of her beloved Mother Emanuel AME Church in downtown Charleston. She believes that Miles being there that day was more than just good timing.
Only God can plan for someone to come at that morning when I needed help.
Don't scare me like that.
His good deed not unnoticed. Miles was awarded the Mazur Award, presented to a cadet who distinguishes themselves by an act of outstanding citizenship that goes far beyond the normal expectations of cadet daily life. And for that, Mrs. Breeland is exponentially grateful.
It's my angel. God sent. God sent.
Thank you for joining us tonight. First at 11, Charleston County teachers are one step closer to a minimum wage that will support them. Tonight, the Teacher Compensation Task Force presented ways to hire and retain teachers to the CCSD Committee of a Whole. Conley Grayson was there and tells us what the task force says teachers need.
And my name is Brittany Crow, and I'm going to cry.
Tears were shed as teachers shared their dilemma, a career that requires a lot of work with little in return.
I drive a car I pray won't break down because I can't afford a new one.
The Teacher Compensation Task Force told the board this isn't about paying teachers what they deserve, but rather it's about paying them what it takes to survive. They recommend to address the cost of housing for all teachers, move the starting salary to $58,000 and increase across the schedule for 2024, retain our experienced teachers, increase from step 30 to step 40 for 2024, and take action to retain current experienced teachers and move the 2023 teacher salary schedule to step 35 in retro pay.
I've been nominated Teacher of the Year 3 times, and I turned it down because I can't take on anything else that's not paying a bill.
Teacher departures are causing the district to lose them faster than they can be hired. In order to retain teachers, the task force believes the district must compete with pay.
You know, in conversations with finance and audit and looking at the stuff, I feel the same way. I mean, what do we do?
But an average of 33 people a day are moving to Charleston, according to the task force members, keeping rent and home prices high.
I mean, I'm 100% in favor of paying teachers and paying them more. I think that the most underpaid group of individuals I've had the pleasure of ever working with. But I say that because I ask you to help us find where this money's going to come from.
That's right, Tessa. After nearly 3 decades in office, Mayor Summey will not be seeking a re-election. He says he hopes his successor will continue making North Charleston a better place.
I would just like to see North Charleston continue to move to be a great place to live, work, and play.
After 7 consecutive terms, the city faces having its first new mayor in over 29 years.
Change is always a little scary, but a time comes when you need change.
Summey says one person he'd support as his successor is Chief Reggie Burgess.
He has lived up to my expectations as police chief more than anything, not only with the working relationship he has with the people in the department, but even more so the working relationship he's developed with the people in the neighborhood.
While Burgess has not announced his candidacy for mayor, another has for the third time.
Got the crime capital of the state, one of the highest per capita in the nation, and I believe that I've got the skill set to bring the crime rate down in North Charleston.
Summey also addressed his hopes for education. This past month, Summey announced he would explore removing North Charleston from CCSD, but that may be changing.
I'm not sure that can be done, but I've had a meeting with the superintendent and some of his staff, and I think it's a common knowledge that we're not getting the service we need in some of our schools.
As for his remaining 9 months as mayor,
I would love to see Park Circle and Danny Jones completed, but you know, we had rain this past week, and so it's going to be a challenge.
Summey was elected back in 1994, since he's won 7 consecutive re-elections, most recently in November of 2019.